Let me see if I can muster up all the excitement I brought up in the beginning. Never mind, it'll be fine. So, yeah, happy to meet you again, even after all the network congestion we've had. Yeah. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's a little frustrating the network light issue right now, but aside all of that, I'm great. How
I,
are you yourself?
it's fine. I mean, just it's getting warmer. Over the past 6 days, the temperature has crept up 4 degrees, but I've been looking at the numbers and I'm like, it's getting warmer. We don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be wearing a sweater now. I'm supposed to be like,
The
but
cold.
yeah,
Yeah.
but this is too thin for January. But yeah, how is the weather in
Over here in
Lagos?
Lagos, we cannot even relate. We
But
can't relate. Sunny every day. I'm genuinely frustrated.
yeah, before we go cut off, I was talking about your book before, like even just the physical
Yeah,
thing. I like this
the
print
feel.
and yeah, it's so smooth. Like the purples are
Thank
actually
you.
actually busting, and I've been looking at light leaf. Like I don't know, man, where did you get this quality from? The road to publishing this book and finding light leaf, what was it like? How did you get this from manuscript, and how did you choose light leaf publishers? And why? Yeah, I want to hear that story first. You know.
So I'll say first, it was a really long journey because
Hmm.
at the time I didn't know anyone that self-published, and it was my first time ever.
Hmm.
So it was both stressful, difficult in terms of navigating the journey, and also the mental part of it, because there's that part where you're second guessing yourself through the journey, and you're
Hmm.
also physical. So it was like a mix of the two. But I thought the manuscript was ready. The first step was getting like a publisher, and I searched online and conversation with a couple of people. But I feel once I had conversation with these guys, there was just that, I don't know, like when kind of, that's what I would say. It felt like they understood what I was trying to convey. And was for me, I feel like it was a very personal work. And I didn't just want it to be done. I wanted it to be done by someone that kind of understands where I'm at. And I got that energy from them. So it was easy to just like decide to work with them. Because at that point, I thought I was all, but it was still another journey. I think around the UK design, cover design, back and forth, finding agreeing on a design. And then I think the part that nobody warned me about that I didn't see coming was the marketing. Because that's the thing, being self-published, you're literally doing the marketing yourself. So, and normally I'm one to just stay in my corner and not put myself out there, but doing this kind of thing, there was no way that I wasn't going to ask to be out there. So having to create content, having to be on live sessions, pitch to bookstores, the whole one is everything. So it was a long journey. But looking back now, I'm grateful for the process because I feel like it stretched me. It stretched me, but I mean, made me stronger at the end of the day.
Yeah, I could see the effort and well done. I think I have only like
We
an
did
hour of Instagram,
it.
and I'll scroll and I'll just see
Okay.
she's reading a poem today at a garden. I'm like, okay. The next day she's reading a poem today at this meet. The next day somebody's posing with the book. Next day there's a review. So I mean, I'm here, and I got the book. So I mean, that marketing is working. A lot of people who don't yet know you. So, what can you tell us about Ozioma? Because I know you're a writer, I know you're a businesswoman. Because I saw you launched the Oli brand now, and I'm like, when you guys start sewing kimonos, call me. I will go into debt to buy a kimono. So, yeah,
Nice,
tell
nice,
us,
nice.
tell us what we don't know.
So, I mean, my name already is Ozioma
Mm-hmm.
Okafor.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do a 9 to 5. I used to be an auditor, so that's my past life. So I like to think. But currently, the part of me that is now very active is the creative side. So as a
Mm.
creative, I write. I mean, yes, aside from writing, I perform like spoken word. So sometimes I do the performance of pieces as well. Then I run a business, a gifting and a branding business. So named Olile. It's actually named Olile. And
Oli.
Olile. Olile, yes. Olile is an Igbo word, Olile. And it's all stemmed from, I feel like when taking a break, career break, and writing the book was what literally opened me up to every other thing because this business stemmed from the book. So from there, the business, gifting and branding stemmed from the book. And yes, I'm an educator as well. I teach. I love teaching children, and every opportunity I get, I teach. So I think that's all for me. That's all to me. I mean, there's more, but for now, that's me.
You know, anyone that wants work can kind of like go to the Instagram, and then you should go to Olile's Instagram too.
Yes,
So
please.
yeah.
And you see, oh yeah, you see all
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So I read your book. How? So I think I got the book on the last day of the last Ake festival, and I didn't
Okay,
stay up.
Pastor,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't stay up till the end, because we had like a rave that night. So I went for the rave, and it
Okay.
rained. After the rave, because we ended early, I couldn't get a ride. It was like 3:30. So I was like in Ikate. I just sat down somewhere and I just unpacked the book and I opened it, and the blast of vulnerability just hit me. And I was like, wait. I started discovering wounds I didn't even know that I had. So, you know, so my
Yeah.
first so my question is that my first question is, why did you even decide to write the book? That's first one. Second, what did you hope the book would, achieve in the reader's life while you were reading it? Because I know what it achieved
Yeah.
in my life.
I'll say first off, I did not set out to write a book. I didn't set out to write a book. So being a writer over the years, whenever I was feeling a certain emotion, I would write like at the moment, this was going on in my head. I write. I think 2020 was when I was say from 2020 when I actively started like putting down these pieces. So I continued over the years. And then in 2024, which is the year the book got published, was when I had this leading in my heart that, oh, you have to put together all these pieces you've written into a book. So it was literally God like instructing me to do that. It wasn't something that I said, oh, I'm going to write a book today. So that was how it happened. So I had to go back to my laptop, my note app, because I write like different places. So I went to my note app, I sent messages to myself on WhatsApp, so checked my WhatsApp, my laptop. So I brought out all the pieces I'd written over time. So I didn't realize, but they were apparently segregated into different emotions. Like it wasn't like I set out to have these emotions or these chapters. Or going through them, I realized that, oh, this we're talking about fear. So I felt like I started to realize that there was sort of sectioned into different emotions. And so that's how I now like brought in the chapters based on those emotions. What did I want to achieve through the book? So the idea is that I believe that we're living the same lives in different ways. So if I'm going through, for example, say fear, or I'm going through what, chances are the next person is. It may be different situations, but very similar. And so in reading my words based on my experiences, you get to see yourself.
Hmm.
And seeing yourself, what
Hmm.
that does for you is that it makes you feel seen. It makes you realize that, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm
Hmm.
not alone. It's okay to
Hmm.
feel the way I'm feeling.
Hmm.
And then it also
Hmm.
gets to walk you out of that place to the place of healing, which is why I say the road to healing is not linear, because which is why the journal prompts and exercises are there. So it's supposed to be a practical thing and not just reading and saying, okay, okay, I can read it. It's like you're supposed to dump those feelings, things that you've tried to hide, break them down, think through them, dump them there, and leave there feeling better. And it's also not a one off read. So it's not a linear journey. Tomorrow you might be back to the ground again. That's just it. So I could always go back every time you need like some encouragement, some hope, and so that was the idea behind
It
it.
was actually fine because I keep even going back to
Ah,
the
amazing.
novel. Yeah, I opened it
Yeah.
up. I could tell that like these were like random, that sometimes they felt random because sometimes the dates were different, sometimes even the writing was different. But one thing that I found, at least
Yeah.
on my first read, was just how open, just how vulnerable. I was like, somebody bled here, and person makes me want to bleed. Why poetry? It's really effective. Who read poems to you as a child? I mean, because I think you're also very strong in prose. That's coming from that technical standpoint anyway. Why poetry?
That's a question I honestly don't think I've thought about. But I would say that when I started out writing, I started writing at a young age, and I just
Hmm.
used to write prose. I mean, that was what I saw my sister doing, so it was just easy to do that. But I
Hmm.
struggled with finishing a book. So I would start chapter one, chapter three. I never somehow always I had like maybe 5 or 6 stories I never got completed. So I think poetry
Hmm.
was maybe an easy shift. I think so. I don't think I set out to write poetry at the start. It was just like, you know what, you want to express your emotion, you're getting stuck writing a book. Write something short. You get so at first it was just me writing short things that are in the moment. I didn't even think it was poetry until I remember it was when I read Rupi Kaur's book. was when I felt like that gave words. Like I was like, oh my God, this is poetry. Like poetry doesn't have to sound a certain way because all along I used to think poetry was like, oh, this very deep thing that you have to spend like days, weeks trying to understand. Yes. And I'm like, so what I'm writing did not seem like poetry until I read Rupica. Like, okay, Rupica is poetry. I'm writing poetry too. So I think that was the moment I realized that, okay, this is what I'm doing and it's effective and it's my truth and that's what matters.
Okay. How did you then get so comfortable being vulnerable? Like, because, I don't know if everybody felt the things that I felt inside this book. Because, I've met some love, some joy, some pain. And I think what prose allows me to mask what I want to say. So instead of telling you that I feel pain, I'll go and tell you somebody else's story. And you have to dig, 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 dig. And
True.
yeah,
That is
but
okay.
but with poetry now like this, there's no. By the time you start hiding too much in poetry, everybody starts to get tired because it distorts the music of writing. Where did you get this comfortable with vulnerability? And then in an age where personal branding is like our king, did you practice this? Is it inborn? Is it something you realized while you're being burnished through fire? Sorry for the long question.
Honestly, I think maybe because I didn't set out to write it. Maybe if I'd set out, okay, you know what, I'm writing a book for people, chances I might have
Mm,
been very careful with what I worded and all of
mm,
that. Maybe because it was
mm,
never really about people. From the beginning, it was
mm,
me writing for myself or to myself
mm,
based off what was going on or what was in my head. Do you understand? So I mean, what's in your journal or in your note app, yeah, being as vulnerable as you can be because it's you. So I think the point when I collated it, maybe because it wasn't outright for people, I never really did it as, oh, I'm being vulnerable like that. Until some people ask me some questions or someone says something, I'm like, oh my God, it's like my life is outside right now. I think it's just now that I'm realizing that okay, someone who can read my book, I feel like they know me or realize something. And then at the end of the day, I think I want to see that if sharing my truth helps one person, then I genuinely think it's worth whatever sacrifice, for lack of better words, that is. So it's for the greater good.
yeah, I see. Because it's not just vulnerable, it's also authentic. Because yeah, I was reading and I was like, okay, so there's a difference between vulnerability and authenticity. A lot of times people cosplay vulnerability and then there's no authenticity in it. And I could see a very,
Mm,
very good balance of that here. So, I was like, as the resident expert now on, how to be vulnerable on the page, how would you like, would I say have you ever come across like maybe the difference between vulnerability and authenticity? Is this something you've thought about? I want to hear your words on that idea.
mm.
That's what I would ask.
So I think even think there's a difference, to be honest. I feel like being vulnerable is authentic. I mean, now you're saying that I'm beginning to wonder, is there really like maybe there's a difference. So I think what you're probably saying is like fake vulnerability, whereas like you try and come off as vulnerable, it's not entirely, you understand? But
Mm,
authenticity means like it's your actual truth. Like you're not doing it for
mm.
maybe for the gram or for anybody. It's you just living your own truth. So I think that's your authenticity. Authenticity.
Okay, okay. So vulnerability without authenticity. Yeah. Okay, okay, okay. I shall add that. And this might be a little bit too personal. What
Okay.
happened?
Bring it on.
What did you need to heal from? You don't have to tell us everything, but be
No, I
as
would say
as much as you can. Okay, okay.
yes. I mean, one of the biggest things I think I did to heal from was fear, where it's like fear had held me down for so long. And
Mm,
that also regrets and shall I say my journey came from a place where I used to feel like I felt like there was so much inside of me, but it felt like somehow there was just this cage where I couldn't express it. And I would always beat myself up. I would always regret that it was just like a lot of hiding. I don't know the word to use it to use right. And then blaming myself, beating myself up, not being kind to myself. I felt like there was this inner battle inside of me.
mm,
And
mm-hmm.
then healing was like coming from that place to a place where I can finally say that okay, I think I'm living purposefully, I'm living my truth, I'm more joyful. I used to be very sad. I've gone through depression, I've had periods of suicidal thoughts and all of those. So if yeah, so it really felt like when I think to the past, I was never really like um living freely, do you get? And then crossing over from there to like now, not like things are 100%, everything is rosy, but I wake up, I'm excited for tomorrow. Like there's hope, there's joy, there is like I know there's so much ahead, and I feel like I'm not hiding anymore. I feel like I'm good enough. Like that was a journey.
The one thing I learned now was that you were an auditor, and I'm like, okay, so auditor to writing. What's I didn't
That's the
I
connection, right?
Yeah, because I mean, when I was doing a 9 to 5, auditors were like our police.
Okay.
Because the auditors were coming for the books, everybody was going to be on guard. That seems like
Yeah,
it seems
everyone
so
running.
much fun.
Yeah.
Seems so like there was so much power. Seemed like it's a job that I never want to leave because get to have some small power over people. So yeah, how did that stretch? What made you just break off from the 9 to 5?
Okay, so for me, I would say right from as from uni, accounting, audit was just like the natural part and all of that. And well, the points I actually did enjoy it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then I think there's a point where I started to not enjoy it, I'll say, or start to struggle, or start to feel a
Mm,
sense of unfulfillment. And that's because I like to think that people are different. Or somebody that has maybe a creative spirit in them, if that is not being used, if that's like being dormant, I don't think you'd ever really be happy. I think there'll be something you that will be very like that will be trying to break free. And so I felt
mm-hmm.
like because if you know audits, it's a very straight line rules. So it's a very this is how it should be done. Yeah, there's really no
Mm,
creativity inside. It's very jiggy. So it
mm,
felt like more like at the point I feel like almost like a chore where you're just doing what you have to be doing. But it's a part of me that knew that oh my god, there is so much more on the other end. And I mean, it's scary. It's very step to take to just leave all of that and sort of start afresh. But I would say I'm a Christian and I'm very big on like God's direction. So it was
mm,
from praying and all of that, I felt this conviction in my heart that it was time to take that leap of faith and just step out of the boat, walk on water. And so it was at that point that I dropped my letter and said, you know what, let's see. And so far it's been I'm grateful. Let's just say that.
I'm grateful because that starts out with a lot of fear. Yeah, I think I'm stepping into like the emotions in
Mm-hmm.
this book. There's been a lot of fear, it means when you're starting.
Mm,
And because there's fear of this
mm-hmm.
is all I've known, there's the fear of the unknown, there's the fear of the environment because
Mm-hmm.
can live in an environment that punishes, well, I won't say creative decisions, but yeah, it punishes a lot and stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, my question on fear was fear is not a good feeling, but I like to push the envelope and ask, was there any time that the fear did something good?
In my opinion, I don't think fear is ever good. I don't think it's a good emotion. I mean, I feel like it holds you back. It's a different thing. It holds you back from living your fullest, right? So
Hmm.
especially when it's like crippling fear, like literally stopping you from doing the things you want to do. So
About sadness. I think so. I think how would I describe my own journey with sadness? I think there was a time that I was so sad that the sadness made me creative in that sense. It changed my relationship with the emotion. Sadness felt like this place where time stopped and I don't say I had so much control. I listened to a lot of sad music then, and I did like arguably my best writing then. That changed my relationship for sadness. I wanted to ask too, was that also your experience? Because me, I was like, maybe sadness isn't so bad after all. So yeah, I don't know. Did you come across something like that, or have you ever thought of that?
I don't think sadness is ever good, right? Or what I
Mm-hmm.
would say in terms of writing is if you can, like, I think tapping into the claim explain. So, like, for example, some of these pieces came from the bad place. There's that place where some people say that writers are always like either heartbreak or whatever emotion, bad emotion, which makes writers write better. Some people say that. And I think what it is where if you're able to like sort of write from that place, I think what it does that kind of actually conveys the emotion, which is like the authentic part you get. So I don't think sadness is good. Also, I don't think they're not good emotions, right? But I think it's being able to like sort of use it to yeah, so at least now whatever pieces was written, like it's been able to like use it. So at least people can relate because it's an emotion that people would feel regardless. So being able to use it and communicate it in a way that someone can relate to it and can also sort of see that, oh, you can come out of it, things like that.
Lily sells like I think a journal.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's part of your products, right? I always speak on like
yeah,
reflective
reflection journal,
journaling.
yes. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, about reflective journaling as a means to heal the mind. And I don't know what are the mechanics of that. Like, how does how would you how would you explain it now to someone who hasn't journaled reflectively? How that could heal them? What have you learned about like reflective journaling? Because I mean, this is a work of reflective journaling.
Okay.
But what are the mechanics? What is that? How does it
Yeah,
work?
yeah. So what I would say is just facing these emotions because it's easy for us to. But there are sometimes maybe, for example, I'm just something is wrong. I'm not just myself, and I know something has piled up, but it's easy to maybe just put it aside, go and do something. So I've had times when I'm not in a good space, and instead of like you just know something is wrong, you can't put like pinpoint what is wrong. You just know that something is wrong, and then there's a tendency to just let it slide. Maybe something happens that makes you happy, and then you just like let it slide and just um let whatever emotion you have slide and then yeah, fine. I really like address what's it's what was in your mind. It can kind of like spiral into something worse. It's never really addressed, so it's just you bury it. And so what reflective journaling does, it helps you to like go to the root of things like that. So at this moment you're saying, I'm not happy. Why? You're having to question things. You're having to recollect situations, what happened that made you feel this way. What you're having to like go through those emotions, which might be difficult sometimes, to be honest, because you have to be very honest with yourself about certain things that you probably would rather not be honest with yourself. But that helps you to just like play it out again and from there can maybe see a solution or feel lighter because in the book a lot of things we're asking you to write in a letter to God about certain words. It could be a letter to your past self that's maybe a situation where you used to blame your past self and then you're forgiving your past self or encouraging your present self. So what that does is that you definitely feel lighter. So some people say they cry while they were doing it. I mean, I also had to experience probably cry while you're doing that and you're letting out the burden. You leave feeling lighter.
Are we going to get another book of poetry, or you've excavated your
Okay.
mind and you are done with us?
Okay, so I'm saying, as I said that, I said yes, that yes, there would be another book because there's still so much to share. Like there's still so much to put out there, and there's still people that need to read these words. So the what I can't say for sure is if it's going to be a book of poetry, it's going to be a prose, and I can't say the when. Do you get? But will there be another book? I can say that yes, by God's grace, there will be another book.
I'll be here waiting for the next one because I know it will be good print and I know that the writing will be good. So yeah, I
Thank
think
you so much.
that's all the questions I opened this night with. So I think just to close this, do you have any questions for me?
Okay, yes, I do. So yeah, my question would be, what was your favorite piece and why? It could be
Okay,
you may not say word for word, but like
I'm reading it. In my heart, there's a tug of war. It's also between fear
yeah.
and boldness. Boldness is crossed. I was like, oh my
Mm.
God, poetry. On most days, I choose fear.
Okay.
In my heart, there's a tug of war. It's also
Yeah.
between the I can and I can't. On most days, I do not. I hold back, hide, and cower. In my heart, there's a tug of war. The bridge between where I am now and where I could be, only if I just do. In my heart is a tug of war. Every waking morning, I hope and pray that today boldness wins over fear, that I may do all I can and be all I should. So that was I liked the play, I liked the redaction. It was a lot of things. So I thought that was a technically good poem. I was like, if I was a poetry editor, I would publish that in a magazine because it's technically good, and then it just
Mm.
deploys a lot of things. Like I read it every time, and there's always like this fresh realization on what that reveals, what that reveals about like emotions, human experience, and language. So, I mean, I'm a very technical person. So, if it pleases me technically, it pleases me emotionally, I think it's a perfect poem. So, yeah.
And I was saying like just this interview did something for me because there's that thing where you did something great, you push, and it sort of dies. for lack of a better word, like on to the next. I feel like I've been in that phase where it's like, okay, it was a good work, moving on. And then I feel like just reawakening something new where I'm like, okay, this is great work. And maybe there's still something there, like I should talk about it more. I should like go back to read it and just still do so. There's still so much more to do in it. And so thank you for reminding me. Thank you for
I try my best. I try my best. I try my best. Okay, so our time is up, and thank you so much for coming, and I'll talk to you some other time. Thank you so much, Ozioma.
a great evening.
Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye bye.